The time has come for us to start designing the plot of our short film. Several tasks need attention. A primary one is that we must focus on the main idea. Let's transition from a theme to a premise. What exactly is a premise? Think of it as having a thesis before you begin crafting your outline. This step is crucial for developing a coherent narrative. I'll give you an example to clarify this point. In the film The Wolf of Wall Street, for instance, you can observe a subtle underlying message suggesting that unchecked ambition ultimately results in personal ruin. This is essentially what the movie aims to convey. Obviously, the premise is never mentioned in the movie. We don't have the actor saying, "Oh no, my ambition is destroying the world," because that would ruin the movie. The beauty of the premise is that it remains almost like a subtext. The viewer can read it, but the actor or character won't acknowledge it. One of our first tasks is to open a word processor. This step is crucial for developing a coherent narrative. Honestly, I always use Final Draft because I'm very familiar with it, working with this program daily. However, you can opt for other word processors or explore some free script writing software available for your needs. Find in the additional resources of this lesson. The first thing I will do is write a title. The title will be provisional, mine. At this moment, I don't intend to find the exact title for my short. I don't spend much time on it. What matters to me for now is that it reminds me a bit of the movie I want to make, the tone I want to achieve. So here I'll demonstrate what I'm going to do in this instance. The Adventures, DC, C for the name of the protagonist, the teenager. C for Cloud. Here, if you see, I have noted things that come from my brainstorming. The theme, independence, main character, 13-year-old teenager whom I have already named, Claudia. Action to resolve that will lead to a dangerous situation. Location camping. Starting fresh like an egg, from nothing I'll attempt this journey, aiming for a transcendent conclusion where success seems out of reach. But she will acquire something essential. After collecting these elements from the exercises I engaged in, she will find the clarity and strength she was seeking. I think about how I could further develop the theme. I mean, independence is very broad. Yes, by focusing on a teenager's independence, I'm narrowing it down, yet it remains quite expansive and complex. It feels like love in times of war. Well, what is it? I still have too much possible universe. I kept thinking and thought that a developed theme could be the transition from adolescence to adulthood. But when one is proposing themes, one inevitably proposes opinions about that theme. When you write, neutrality is impossible. You will inevitably take a stance. I believe this is essential when expressing ideas. I have to add that it is the hard transition. I believe it is hard. Honestly, I think it's hard when one moves from being a teenager to approaching something of adulthood, to having certain responsibilities. Understanding your limits can be somewhat painful for humans. If I wish to shift the theme or premise, it involves a certain discomfort inherent in our nature. I have to think that the premise will have a beginning, a development, and a possible ending. That's why we say unbridled ambition already speaks to me of a particular character. Not just any character has unbridled ambition. If that unbridled ambition will lead to self-destruction, then it speaks to me of a passage in time where the character will be so ambitious to consider the consequences of their actions, potentially leading to self-destruction and impacting their environment. We must reflect on how to transform this theme into something meaningful, an adjective, into something that shows the passage of time. Understanding that universe, I am experimenting here, and I am putting certain things that seem to me. I believe a lot in instant writing, that one has to think about certain things, but also has to experiment by writing. And by writing, one discovers things. So first I said, adolescence without protection is dangerous and challenging. I need to put adolescence with some distinctive traits. Otherwise, it could be any teenager, which would disrupt my thought process while developing my idea.